State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to have an attorney present to represent you. We are providing you with the assistance of the Public Defender's Office today if you choose to utilize their service. Where would you like to start?
Your Honor, courtroom 2 can go ahead. I need to get the ladies' interview first.
Okay, so who do we have at courtroom 2?
Judge Keith Cook from our office this is Javier Trejo, Judge. Good to see you.
Yes.
Keith Cook from our office is handling cases. I believe he should be in courtroom 2. It's a substantially large calendar, Judge. We split it down the middle. If we were to start with his cases and then I can interview some of the ladies at ACDC and then switch, that may be most efficient for today, but I defer to the court.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Trejo. However you think it's most sufficient, would you like me to put you into a breakout room? How would you like to do it?
Let's do a breakout room. That sounds good, Judge.
Okay, so let's handle Mr. Cook's cases in courtroom 2. We can put Mr. Trejo and ACDC into a breakout room so that he can begin interviewing.
Okay, Judge.
I have some of Mr. Trejo's clients mixed in.
And I haven't interviewed anybody at ACDC either. Now I have some other folks ready, but eventually.
Okay. So we can just switch back and forth if you like.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna try to make it work, Your Honor.
Okay, I know you will, Norris. Thank you. So we'll start with Mr. Cook's cases in your courtroom, courtroom 2. We'll put Mr. Trejo in ACDC, and once we're done with Mr. Cook's, we'll just switch them out. Does that work for everybody?
Your Honor, we can use the telephone for Mr. Trejo clients.
Would you prefer to use the telephone, or would you prefer to
Telephone.
Telephone? Okay.
Yes.
Do you have the number?
I just put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So,
Your Honor, we're gonna start with the 2 conflicts. They don't have any representation, but they both said they want to go forward and represent themselves.
okay. So,
All right. We're gonna start off with add-on number 8, Mr. Cedric O'Neill.
yes, good afternoon, Mr. O'Neill. Again, I'm Judge Eric Nomura. This is a state court expedited accusation calendar. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the option today, if you would like to proceed pro se, given that we do not have an attorney for you today, I will allow you to go pro se, representing yourself if you choose to. If you want to wait until tomorrow, until we can have an attorney represent you, I'm happy to do that also. What would you like the court to do?
I would like to represent myself, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. Let's see, Mr. O'Neill, you've been charged in case 24CR004957E with battery family violence. Good afternoon, Ms. Harvey. Is there a history?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. 1 cycle out of Tennessee and 2 cycles out of Georgia. The last arrest was March 19th, 2023 for simple possession of marijuana out of Tennessee. No disposition was listed. That appears to be an open case. Also has an open case out of Fulton County for theft by taking. Case number 22SC180192. Recommendation from pretrial was a level 2, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Good afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred just this week. I'll get you exact date. The victim in this case is Mr. O'Neill's brother, 19 years old, who still lives with their mother. All individuals on this case, mother and both sons, have the same address listed as their address. It's reported that on scene, it was reported that the defendant slammed the door in the police's face along with his mother, who were uncooperative. But the victim reported that they were arguing over a gaming charger for video games. And he was punched, grabbed, and slammed into the wall. Injuries were seen on the victim's chest, neck, and back. His first name is Tyquan, Tyquan O'Neal. And I'll get you the correct address. We'd be asking for no contact.
I'm showing the address as 600 Martin Street.
I believe so.
Okay.
Southeast, Martin Street Southeast.
Yes, anything further, Ms. Allen?
That's it, Your Honor.
Okay. If Mr. Tyquan O'Neal is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. O'Neal, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with, at this time, Tyquan O'Neal. Stay away from the Martin Street address. You can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that you might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna let you sign yourself out, Mr. O'Neal, but you're gonna have to make sure that you come back for your next court date. Otherwise, they're gonna put a warrant out for you, okay?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. O'Neal.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Next, Your Honor, this is gonna be add-on number 17. Ms. Tinch, add-on number 17.
Good afternoon, Ms. Tench. Let's see, well, unfortunately, we do not have a conflict attorney to represent you today. You have the option of either proceeding pro se, or you can wait until tomorrow when we can possibly get you an attorney. What would you like to do?
Pro se.
Okay, you've been charged in case 24 CR 004966C with 2 counts of simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest recommendation is a level 1.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Tinch has a co-defendant. I believe she's number 1 on the docket today. She's accused with a simple battery in 2 counts, one for battery on Latricia Jones and the other simple battery on Alicia Beard on the 21st of July at 2637 Old Hateville Road Southwest, specifically apartment 9F. Mrs. Tinch and maybe her mom, I'm not sure, her co-defendant's relationship, but they knocked on the door while recording themselves of the victims. And when the victims answered the phone, proceeded to step in, make entry into the location, and assault both of these women on video that they took before they entered the apartment. Mrs. Arias, who's the co-defendant, is seen removing her shoes and pulling her pants up because she's getting ready to fight. The door is opened and words are exchanged. And at a certain point, you can see that these ladies have made entry into the location. It's alleged that the defendant put her foot in the door to prevent the door from being closed to stop this assault, and then swung and struck both individuals inside. Again, that is Latricia Jones and Alicia Beard. Your Honor, we would ask for a bond with level 2, or no, I'm sorry, level 1 was what was required. No contact with both ladies, and stay away from 2637 Old Hateville Road Southwest, apartment 9F. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Okay, Ms. Jones or Ms. Beard, if you're on the line and you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I see Ms. Jones there. So Ms. Jones, if you would like to address the court, you don't have to, but if you would like to address the court, you'll have to activate your camera and I'll have to swear you in.
Okay. It's saying can you hear me? Because it's saying I'm unable to activate my camera. What?
I can hear you, Ms. Jones. So can we, Ms. Grace, can you see if you can let her activate her camera?
And that's for Ms. Jones. What's the first name?
Latricia.
Okay, Judge.
I was fine with it. I just really wanted to stay away from both of my address. I want no further contact, period, at all with them. I don't
Okay,
want to contact no one in my family or none of that. Social media, nothing, or stay away from both of my address. I have two houses, sir.
okay. Are you able to activate your camera?
Yes, sir.
I sent the request, Judge.
Okay. You should be able to activate it now, Ms. Jones.
Okay. Enable the camera access in your browser.
Okay, so you've got one address, the Old Hateville Road number 9 address. Is that your address?
Yes, sir.
What's the other address?
125 Milton Avenue.
Okay, I'm gonna have both of them stay away from both those locations, okay?
Mhm.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones.
I have a parent who's here also. Her child was in the house once this accident happened, and she would like to press charge on them both because her child was in the house, and she said her child is like mentally like traumatized behind this situation. This total time when they came into my house, I had a total of 6 kids.
Ms. Jones, I'm happy to hear you, but I can't, you're gonna have to get that camera activated. And if there's somebody else there that wants to have a complaint against either of these young ladies, then the solicitor's office is listening, and I'm sure that someone will get in touch with you all.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, ma'am. As such, Ms. Tinch, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through pre-trial on each count, makes it for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pre-trial. Level 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Beard or Ms. Jones. Stay away from the Hateville Road address, apartment 9, and the 125 Milton Avenue address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm letting you sign your own bond, Ms. Tinch, but you're going to have to make sure that you show up for your next court hearing. Otherwise, they'll put a warrant out for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you have to stay away from those locations. And when I say no contact, I mean no contact whatsoever. No phone contact, no email contact, no internet contact, obviously no personal contact. If you have any contact with either Ms. Beard or Ms. Jones, you'll be in violation of this bond and it'll be revoked. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Your
good
Honor, if
luck.
I might ask one question of Mrs. Carson. My understanding is that the dispute is over custody of a child that the victims have in their home. Can we get the name of that child so that they can be included?
Monty Harris.
How do you spell that?
AMONTE. Harris, HARRIS.
And how old is that child?
She's 2. She'll be 3 coming up this August.
Okay.
Whose child is she?
She's Shantidra Harris' daughter. She's deceased.
So my understanding is that the child has been placed into the custody of these ladies. She's a toddler, age 2, and I believe Miss Tinch is the step aunt, and Mrs. Wanda Arias is the step grandmother of the deceased parent.
Miss Tinch is the half sister. They have the same mother, not the same dad. And Miss Wanda, she's the dad's wife.
Okay, so
No blood relation.
No.
So stay away from Amante Harris. You'll have to work that out in another court if you want to have some type of visitation.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Tinch.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there's a companion case
I'm gonna call it up
on the
now.
areas. Is that
Cook.
correct? The Salem?
Cool. I'm calling it
Okay.
up. Thank you.
Is this Miss Arias?
Yeah, it's gonna be position 1 on the regular SEA.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Arias. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004939C with 2 counts of simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles out of Florida, Your Honor. The last arrest was in 2009 out of Florida for resisting an officer without violence. Recommendation from pretrial is a SOB jail. Nothing further.
Anything to add, Ms. Allen?
This is my case, Your Honor, but we don't have anything
Oh,
to
I'm
add.
sorry, Ms. McConkey. Good
No.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Your Honor?
Doing well, thank you.
But no, nothing to add. We would be asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. Stay away from the incident location. No further contact with either the victims or the minor child. Anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Cook?
We would object to the anger awareness. We would like the SOB to be through the jail, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same as I did for Ms. Tench. It'll be $1,000 SOB through pretrial level 1 for each charge, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Beard or Ms. Jones. Stay away from the Hateville Road address number 9 and the 125 Milton Avenue address. Also, no contact with Amonte Harris. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Arias.
Okay. Want to give me the 716 before you go?
Who do we have next?
It's gonna be position number 2, Mr. Quintavious Benton.
Good afternoon, Mr. Benton. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004940G with second battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
14 cycles, Your Honor. Last arrest was June 13th, 2024 out of DeKalb County for FTA. 2022 conviction.
You got another one.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Harvey.
2022 conviction for criminal trespass. 2023 willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and DUI. Appears to be on probation for that case, Your Honor. 2 probation violations and 2 FTAs in the history. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. I think I see that he also has a 2023 arrest for simple battery. This incident occurred July 17th, 2024 at 25 Piedmont Avenue Northeast in Atlanta. The defendant is accused of spitting on Momorolua Adetoye Allen. The defendant attempted to stop the victim while she was walking, and when she refused to stop, he spat in her face. The victim observed the defendant in front of her job, Sweet Stack Creamery, 2 days after the incident on July 19th, 2024. Her job, that Sweet Stack Creamery, is on the same, I think, like street as the incident location, which was in front of a Pizza Hut. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, stay away from 25 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, the Pizza Hut, and the victim's work. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim and also no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
And that's Latoya Allen, Ms. McConkey?
It is Momorolua Adetoye Allen.
If either of those people are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 25 years old. He is residentially challenged. He is not employed. We would be seeking a signature bond, whatever level the court deems appropriate. We have no problem with any kind of stay away or no further contact.
All right, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Stay away from the Piedmont Avenue address, no further contact with the alleged victims, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Benton.
Your signature bond, it's not your name.
And just to clarify, it was just one victim. That name belongs.
I'm sorry, Ms. McConkey, and that was the, give me that alleged victim's name again.
Momorolua Adetoye Allen.
Oh, okay. So that's the same person. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I misunderstood. Okay, who do we have next?
This is gonna be position number 4, Mr. Nicholas Brown.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brown. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004942D with possession and use of drug-related objects and possession of dangerous drugs and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 22 cycles. Last arrest was in 2001 out of DeKalb County for armed robbery and a capital offense. That resulted in a conviction in 2004. Also has a 2004 conviction for armed robbery, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, conviction from 2000 for theft by shoplifting, 1998 battery, 1997 disorderly conduct. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred July 20th, 2024. The defendant is accused of trespassing on 1090 Jefferson Street, Atlanta. I think this is a Fulton County government building. There was a sign outside that said no trespassing on the premises. The defendant was also found to be in possession of a glass smoking pipe and 2 clear baggies which contained crack cocaine. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services level 3. Stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to the recommendation.
Okay, for each count, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from the Jefferson Street address unless he has official business with whatever building that is with the Fulton County government. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Brown.
No. Next, y'all, is gonna be position number 5, Mr. Catalan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Catalan. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004943Y with theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
5 cycles, Your Honor. Last arrest February 20th, 2021 out of Cobb County for terroristic threats. That case was dismissed. A 2017 conviction for driving on a suspended license. 2019 battery family violence. 2021 willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. DUI and driving without a valid license. Also appears to have a hold out of Cobb County. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 1. Nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
This incident occurred November 21st, 2022. The defendant is accused of stealing an Apple iPhone Pro Max from the Verizon wireless store located at 3530 Camp Creek Parkway. The defendant made contact with the manager and was in the process of purchasing a phone when the manager went to the back to make a copy of the defendant's driver's license, and he grabbed a phone from the desk and fled the store. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from the Verizon wireless located at 3530 Camp Creek Parkway. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Cook?
Yes, sir. My client is 34 years old. He's lived in the area his entire life. He works now in construction, although the pay is fairly modest. He has I believe he has a hold in Cobb County, which he'd like to go ahead and get to and settle that issue. We would be we have no problem with any of the restrictions in the conditions of bond, but we would be seeking a signature bond.
Okay, it'll be a $5,000 signature bond from pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Verizon and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Catalan.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 7, Mr. Mario Davis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004945A with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
2 cycles, Your Honor. Last arrest was May 2019 for aggravated assault. That case was dismissed, Your Honor. Recommendation is a SOB jail. Nothing further.
Bucky.
The defendant is accused of punching the victim, Omencia Davis, which left a bruise on the side of her face. The defendant had come to the resident to get the party's son, and him and the victim started he started verbally abusing the victim and stating that the incident location was still his house. The daughter of the parties told the police the defendant had put his hands on both her and her mother numerous times in the past, and the defendant left before officers arrived. Our office has had a chance to speak with the victim, Omencia Davis, who stated that her and the defendant are married but have been separated since April, and they currently do not live together. They do share 4 children. She confirmed the events in the warrant and stated, as her daughter did, that this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards her, but this is the first time that she has called the police. She said she would like no violent contact because they need contact for their 14-year-old son, but she would like the defendant to stay away from the residence. The state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond, no further violent contact with the victim, Omencia Davis, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Davis.
Ms. Davis is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Cook.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 45 years old. He has lived in the area his entire life. He is not currently working. We would be seeking no further violent contact. He has no problem with the stay away. He lives in Duncanville, so he's not particularly near the alleged incident location. Beyond that, we would object to the anger awareness, and we would be seeking a signature bond.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Davis, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you. Next, Your Honor, we have position number 8, Mr. Ellison.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ellison. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004946A with battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 cycles out of Georgia, 16 out of Illinois, and 8 out of Delaware. Last arrest was 2018 for assault out of Delaware. That case was dismissed. Out of Georgia, a 2017 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Out of Illinois, 2006 conviction for possession of controlled substance. 2007, carrying a firearm in public. Also a 2007 possession of a controlled substance. 2009 robbery. Out of Delaware, a 2016 larceny conviction and a 2016 assault. Recommendation for pretrial is a level 2. Nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to point out that it looks like the defendant has a 2016 arrest out of Delaware for 2 counts of assault, as well as another 2016 out of Delaware for assault, damage to property that was null prost, a 2013 battery out of Illinois, and a 2009 battery aggravated assault, arrest out of Illinois. This incident occurred July 20th, 2024. Officers arrived at the incident location in reference to a person being stabbed. The victim, Valeria Drawn, told officers that she came home from the hospital with the party's daughter who was sick, and the defendant began arguing with her. The victim was laying down with their daughter when the defendant poured water on her, threw things at her, and stomped on her face. When the defendant was pushing his hands in the victim's face, it caused the victim's chin to hit their daughter. The victim did sustain bruising and swelling to the side of her face. The victim's 1-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son were present during this incident. The defendant did admit that he threw items and squirted ketchup on the victim. The defendant alleges that the victim cut him with a box cutter. The defendant did have a laceration on his bicep, a scratch on his forearm, and a cut under his eye. Officers were not able to determine who the primary aggressor was at this time. However, the victim was not arrested because, of course, she was at home with that sick infant. The victim and the defendant, our office has had a chance to speak with the victim. She stated that her and the defendant are married and they currently do not live together, but they do share one child. She stated the incident location is the defendant's residence, and she stated that the defendant was the primary aggressor. She stated that she is not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. However, given the defendant's history, the state's recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond for the battery, $500 surety bond for each count of cruelty to children, no further contact with Valeria Drawn or the minor child to allow for a cooling down period, and of course our concerns given the defendant's violent history, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Valeria Drawn.
Spell the last name for me.
The last name is Drawn, D-R-A-U-G-H-N.
Ms. Drawn is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Yes, sir. My client is 35 years old. He's lived in the area 6 years. He just started an hourly job. He is the sole breadwinner for that family. He could certainly go live with an uncle in College Park, so he doesn't have to be.
Hey, I'm here. Okay. I was having problems unmuting myself.
Okay, well, give me is this Miss Drawn?
Yes, this is Mrs. Drawn.
Okay. Cameron, I'll be with you, okay?
Okay.
Would you like to complete your thought, Mr. Cook?
I'd like to hear what she has to say.
So
wait, Miss Drawn, hold on now. You can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to tell the court that I'm not in fear of my husband. I just feel as though he does need anger management because I'm going through postpartum depression and he doesn't really know how to deal with me when I get upset. I was angry from not being able to eat at work and then having to come home and deal with our daughter who had a stomach bug. And then I have to deal with my son who's going through emotional stress because his father just passed. And so I started crying and I exploded and said, I need help. And that's what started him going off, because when I'm angry, he feeds off my energy of me being angry. So because he is a good father, he is a great father majority of the time. He is a great provider as well. So, and I don't wish to seek any charges, and I do want to have contact with him because he's not really violent. I just think because of the circumstances of our daughter being sick, as well as me upset and frustrated and being rude when he's asking me, do I need help, kind of made the situation go left field. But I don't wish to not have contact with him. And I do think he do need anger management. But other than that, he's a good person.
Has this ever happened before, Ms. Drawn?
He hasn't got violent with me before. This is the first time he ever got violent with me.
And how long have you all been together?
We've been married all about 6 months, but we've been together for 2 years. And he sustained a cut to his arm because when I got off work, I still had my box cutter with me. And I guess during the hey, it's okay. During the exchange, when he pushed me or however, I think when he fell on top of me, he may have got cut in that way. I mean, stabbed that way, but I wouldn't harm him. And I know in my heart that he wouldn't harm me neither.
Anything further?
No.
Ms. McCockey, any questions?
To confirm with Ms. Drawn, Mr. Ellison did stomp on your face during this incident?
He didn't stomp on my face. When we were arguing. I walked towards him, and because he had been throwing things on me, I slipped. And then after he slipped, I slipped, he slipped also, causing him to fall on me. Like he literally fell on, I think it's this side of my face, causing the bruising and the swelling.
Okay, so he didn't stomp on your face, but he was throwing things at you.
He was throwing things at me.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. John. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, just finishing my thoughts. My client is the sole breadwinner, as I understand it, for the family. Again, he would have another place to live if that were necessary. So we would be seeking no further violent contact. If the court wishes that he stay away from that location for a while, he does have a place to live. And we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate.
Ms. John, can you come back on camera for me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You and Mr. Ellison, y'all are grown people, okay? Y'all are apparently raising two children. Whatever you do in your household, they are seeing you do that. They are emulating you. You have the ultimate responsibility of making sure that these two young people come up as good people. And you need to get you both apparently seem to need to get your selves together by whatever means you need to do it to take care of children and to raise those children. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're a grown person. He's a grown person. Those two children don't have you're all that they have. You got to do better. You both have to do better. All right. It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 for the battery, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2 for each of the cruelty to children, makes it a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 5 days anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. John, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Next, y'all, is gonna be position number 9, Mr. Zugo.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Zugo. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004947Y with simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest, recommendation is a SOB jail, nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
The defendant is accused of striking his coworker, Dania Lundley, twice in the face while the parties were at work. Our office has had a chance to speak with the victim, Ms. Lundy, who stated that her and the defendant are co-workers. She confirmed the events in the warrant and stated that she never had an altercation with the defendant before, and this came out of nowhere. She stated that the defendant was fired after this incident and that she has seen the defendant in passing on a train since this incident, but they have not spoken. She said she wants no contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the incident location. Given the defendant's limited history, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, stay away from the incident location, which is 8592 Roswell Road in Atlanta, no further contact with Dania Lundy, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol.
Lundy is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, we have no objection to the conditions of the bond as recommended by the state. We would ask the court to accept the pretrial's recommendation of a signature bond through the jail.
Okay, it'll be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail, no further contact with Ms. Lundy, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 10, Mr. Ford.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ford. You've been charged in case 24CR004948F with battery family violence. Is there a history?
No, Your Honor. First arrest. Recommendation is to the jail. Nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
This incident happened July 20th, 2024. The incident location is 3725 Princeton Lake Parkway, Southwest in Atlanta. The parties, which are the defendant and the victim, Miss Asia Martin Ford, were having a verbal dispute about being together when the victim mentioned that the defendant wasn't spending as much time with the children, and that is when the defendant punched the victim in the face. The victim did sustain a knot to her face. When the defendant punched the victim, the party's 4 daughters came running into the room and the victim called the police. Our office has had a chance to speak with the victim, Miss Martin Ford, who stated that her and the defendant are married. They live together at the incident location and share 4 children. She did confirm the events in the warrant and stated that they have argued in the past, but it has never been physical. She said that she only wants contact with the defendant via phone regarding the children, but does not wish to have any physical contact. She wants the defendant to stay away from the residence, and that she states that the defendant will need a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his vehicle. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness. I think no further violent contact would be appropriate at this time to allow, some cooling down, and the parties can talk about custody, via a third party. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Miss Asia Martin Ford.
I think you meant no further contact, Ms. McConkey.
Yes, I did mean no further contact.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ford, I see you on the line. If you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You, of course, do not have to, but if you do, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Okay, Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask for no further violent contact. He does have another place to live. In fact, I think his brother's gotten many of the belongings out of the location in question. But we would ask for a one-time Leo visit to pick up what's left, and I think there's a vehicle there. We would ask for a signature bond and to the jail, and we would be seeking, we would object to an anger management course.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Asia Ford, stay away from the Princeton Lake address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings, third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ford.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to go to position number 13, Mr. Jontavius Hancock.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hancock. You've been charged in case 24CR004951Y with 1 misdemeanor offense. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest. Recommendation is a level 1. Nothing further.
Ms. McConkey?
Do we want a breakout room for this, Your Honor? Or is it fine for me to proceed?
It's fine to proceed. I just didn't want to say the, but you can tell me what it's about.
Okay, so the defendant is well, I would have to say what the charge is. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. The defendant is accused of pimping Janiyah Henderson by transporting her to 470 John Scott Drive in Alpharetta in order for her to perform sexual acts for money. The defendant and an individual by the name of Siani Wagner dropped Ms. Henderson off at the location and continued to wait outside until they were detained by officers. A Glock 43 was also found in the vehicle. Officers discovered this through an undercover operation conducted to target women engaged in sexual activity for money and potential victims of human trafficking. They saw Ms. Henderson's ad on an online website and met her at the incident location. The state's recommendation is a $3,500 surety bond. Stay away from that incident location, of course. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 22 years old. He's lived here his entire life. He's not currently employed. I believe the record was no arrest. He denies the allegations. We would be seeking a signature bond through the jail, and any of the other conditions mentioned would be fine.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 good bond, no further contact with Ms. Henderson, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hancock. Who do we have next?
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 16, Mr. Latimer. I do have one question. Do we have the Spanish interpreter today?
She was on the line earlier. I saw.
see her.
Oh, yes.
I see her.
Yes,
All right,
I'm
so
here,
will
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Trejo come back? We're going to do the Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll be with you, Ms. Chancey. Thank you for being here this afternoon.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Latimer. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004953D with public drunk. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 cycles. The last arrest, which is open, was out of Fulton County. That's case number 24 SC 000921. Has an offense date of December 16th, 2022. Death by receiving stolen property, possession of tools for commission of a crime, and a misdemeanor willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Recommendation from a pretrial is a level 2. Nothing further to add.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened, I think, May 1st, 2023. The defendant is accused of drinking alcohol and being drunk on the property of Benjamin E. Mays High School, located at 3450 Benjamin E. Mays Drive, Southwest in Atlanta. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services. Level 2, stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, sir. My client is 19 years old. He's lived in the area his entire life. He's not currently working. We would be seeking given the charge, we'd be seeking a signature bond through the jail. Any stay away or no further contact provisions would not be objectionable.
Okay, so he didn't have any reason to be at that Benjamin E. Mays location? No? Okay. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Latimer. So we have Mr. Trejo back with us. How would you like to proceed, Norris?
Cook only has 2 more left. We could just finish up with Cooks, and then we could just go straight through with Mr. Trejo.
Okay, very good. Who do we have next?
Next is going to be on add-on 1, Mr. Langley.
I'm sorry, Norris, you said how many does Mr. Cook has?
I have some folks at ACDC.
He only has 2 more here, and then he's going to interview with you guys over there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Langley. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004972G with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 1 moment. Sorry. "49 total cycles, Your Honor. The last arrest was June 16th, 2024 with the Atlanta Police Department for simple battery. That appears to be open, Your Honor, on the case number 24 CR 003850G, a 2020 felony conviction for battery and substantial physical harm, also a 2020 battery family violence conviction, 2020 disorderly conduct, 2017 criminal trespass, 2013 simple assault, 2010 possession of a controlled substance, 2008 willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and forgery in the first degree, 2001 battery, 2001 forgery, 99 burglary and aggravated stalking, 1998 battery. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Alan?
Thank you, Your Honor. This, you just heard correctly. The defendant is on bond right now. He just received a bond for a battery against a partner in June of this year. In the instant case, he was at 180 Ralph David Abernathy at a BP gas station where he was identified as a known customer who was problematic and disorderly. Mr. Margrey, Maregyy, last name Ferzwed, Ferezewd, was a cashier, reported that the gentleman had arrived on scene, that he left the area behind the counter in order to request that the gentleman leave. And the minute he walked out from behind a protected area, he was punched in the face. Police observed that he had a small laceration to his lip. Mr. Langley was intoxicated. He's charged with battery for causing a visible injury. We would be asking for a pretrial surety bond or pretrial conditions and supervision, Your Honor. You saw, or you just heard, he's got 49 cycles. The majority of them are for disorderly behavior, intoxication, violence that is domestic violence related, but also like this, violence against strangers. He's currently got an SOB through the jail that was $5,000. He's in violation of that. Although this isn't a battery against his partner, Doris Coleman, like the one in June, clearly the orders of the court are not something that he's able to respect. So we'd ask for a surety bond or a higher level of supervision.
Do you know, Miss Allen, if I gave him that bond?
I was unable to find an actual document in the system. Maybe someone there can help. It just says SOB through the jail for the June 16th, 2024.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Your Honor, I would like to leave this to the discretion of the court.
Okay, you're not going to help me at all?
Well, we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. He is 55 years old. He's lived in the area his entire life. He is a parking lot attendant, but makes very little money. He doesn't know the alleged victim at all and denies the allegations.
Your Honor, I was able to pull up the bond. It is your bond issued June the 17th of 2024. No violation of the laws, no contact.
Okay, thank you.
Violence. Thank you.
All right, so it will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1. No further contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from that Ralph David Abernathy address. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, can't go back to that location, Mr. Langley.
I didn't shut. You done. Next is going to be add-on 2, Mr. Maddox, Anthony Maddox.
Good afternoon, Mr. Maddox. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004971G with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 28 cycles. The last arrest was December 30th, 2023, out of Clayton County for criminal trespass. That was a conviction, Your Honor. A 2006 conviction for forging, counterfeiting trademarks or copyright designs. 2010 aggravated battery. 2018 theft by shoplifting. Also 2018 battery and obstructing or hindering a person making an emergency phone call. 2024 conviction for criminal trespass. An open case out of Fulton County for financial transaction card fraud. 23 CP 223203. 1 FTA and 2 probation violations in the history. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
Alan.
Your Honor, this is an incident that happened on the 20th of this month, 2024, specifically at the Marriott Marquis at 265 Peachtree Center Avenue Northeast. The defendant was identified by staff on scene and reported to the police. He was sleeping outside on the location, on the grounds of the location. He'd been previously trespassed from that location on November the 24th of 2023. This is a single count of criminal trespass. He did just hear that he's just been convicted in 2023 in Clayton County, as well as had a 24 conviction, and he's got an open financial transaction card, although it's unindicted, I think, here. So pretrial recommendation for level 3 with conditions seems appropriate, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cook?
Yes, we've been asking for a signature bond to the jail, Your Honor. My client is homeless. He does have a mailing address. He is not employed, has no income. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1. Stay away from the Marriott Marquis. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Maddox.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, Mr. Cook is gonna call ACDC to interview his remaining clients. And we're gonna go back to Mr. Trejo's clients. And this is gonna be position number 14, the Spanish interpreter case. Mr. Humberto Jimenez. Humberto Jimenez.
And if you'll raise your right hand, Ms. Chansey, do you swear or affirm that you will translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jimenez. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004952E with criminal trespass.
Buenas tardes, señor Humberto Jiménez. Usted ha sido acusado en el caso 24 CR 004952E por allanamiento de morada.
Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Harvey?
One cycle out of Texas, Your Honor. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 1.
Hay un ciclo en el estado de Texas y se recomienda el proceso a través de los servicios previos al juicio nivel 1.
This incident occurred July 21st, 2024 at 7000 Roswell Road in Sandy Springs.
Este incidente ocurrió el 21 de julio del 2024 al 7000 Roswell Road en Sandy Springs.
The defendant is accused of throwing the victim Osnelli Quintana's phone against the concrete, causing it to break because he was upset about communications he had seen on the phone.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the name again, Nelly?
Osnelli Quintana?
Ventana. El acusado se le alega que él tiró a la señora o señorita Nelly Osegui Ventana debido a discusiones que habían tenido entre ellos anteriormente.
The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
La fiscalía recomienda una sentencia a través de los servicios previos al juicio con una fianza bajo firma, no tener más contacto alguno con la víctima, mantenerse distanciado de la dirección de Roswell y se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
And I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Quintana if she is on the Zoom.
Está la señora Quintana en la plataforma de Zoom y si quiere hablar, por favor, prenda su cámara. Nelly Quintana.
Doesn't appear so. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, we're not in opposition to a signature bond in this case, especially given my client's lack of history. Judge, we would ask for no further violent contact between him and the other party. This is the first time that something like this had occurred. While it is a damage to property case, it is not a battery case where he was accused of attacking her. He doesn't feel like that there is a risk of violence between them. My understanding is that they, to this day, continue having a good relationship. And further, Judge, we would ask for there not to be a stay away order from that address. My client indicated that Miss Quintana may be leaving that address. However, my client does intend to go back there and continue living there with some other individuals who reside there. So we would be in opposition to a stay away order.
Su señoría, no tenemos ninguna objeción para recibir una fianza bajo firma. También queremos pedir que no se dé, que se otorgue un permiso de contacto no violento. Esta es la primera vez que ocurre y cuando, a pesar de que hubo daños de propiedad, él no la atacó a la víctima. Ellos además han tenido una buena relación. Por eso pedimos también que no se ordene el mantenerse alejado del domicilio debido a que la señora o señorita Quintana va a mudarse y mi cliente tiene la intención de ir a vivir con otros individuos con otras personas que ya también viven en la casa.
And our office has not had a chance to speak with Ms. Quintana, so we don't know whether or not she wants to continue contact. We can't confirm that there has been no violent contact since then or that she'll be moving.
Nuestra oficina no ha podido contactarse con la señora Quintana, por eso no hay forma que podamos confirmar de que no habrá, si se puede otorgar un contacto sin violencia o si ella se va a mudar.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Ms. Quintana and no drug, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Van a hacer una fianza bajo firma de $2,000 a través de los servicios previos al juicio bajo el nivel 1. No tener más, una orden de no tener más contacto violento y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor. Thank you.
Do we need Ms. Chancey for any other cases this afternoon?
None of mine, Your Honor.
¿Se necesita la intérprete para alguno de los casos o alguien que necesite interpretación en español? Por favor, avísenos.
Thank you, Ms. Chancey. We appreciate you being here this afternoon.
You're
as
welcome, sir. Have a good day.
You do the
Bye-bye.
same.
Thank you, ma'am.
Who do we have now?
This is going to be position number 12 from the regular SCA calendar, Mr. Griffin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Griffin. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004950F with giving false information to law enforcement. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. 17 cycles. Last arrest was a probation violation with the Department of Community Supervision, June 20th, 2024. A 2013 conviction for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, purchase, possession, or have a controlled substance in Schedule 1 or 2. 2017 criminal trespass. 2018 driving on a suspended or revoked license, giving false name or birthday to a law enforcement officer. And a 2022 aggravated assault and battery family violence. At least one FTA and 3 probation violations in the history, Your Honor. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3 and nothing further.
Rocky?
Yes, this incident occurred May 29, 2024. The defendant is accused of giving a false name of Charles Griffin and a false date of birth of October 31st, 1986 to law enforcement officers. I believe the name that he gave Charles Griffin belongs to his brother. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services level 3 as pretrial recommended. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
This is all he was charged with, Ms. McConkey?
Yes, he was only charged with giving false information to a law enforcement officer.
Is there anything more there as far as why they were asking him for his information?
Yes, give me 1 second. So the officers was called to a Waffle House on suspicious circumstances. The call resulted in them detaining 2 subjects and conducting a probable cause search of the vehicle. They were found asleep in the vehicle with a blowtorch and a glass smoking pipe commonly used for illicit drugs. And one of the subjects' lap and the odor of marijuana was coming out of the vehicle. So that is why they stopped. And then he gave the name of Charles Griffin, who was his brother. It came back with, nothing on it. So they let him go. And then it was later determined that that was a false name.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Judge, we're not in opposition to a signature bond through pretrial, especially given the charges that my client is accused of. Judge, based on the warrant that was taken out on this case, it does appear that the other individual was the one that was charged and related to some of those items that were found during the search, and that my client was only charged with giving false information to a law enforcement officer. He did also indicate to me, Judge, that he was working at that Waffle House at the time. He is still employed in food services. He works at Chili's. He does do some volunteer work in the community. And regarding some of those other charges, his representation to me, Judge, was that they revoked for that probation violation out of Cobb County. They revoked part of his time. And his representation to me is that that case is terminated, and this is the only thing that is holding him right now. So for those reasons, Judge, we're not in opposition to a signature bond.
It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Griffin.
Your Honor, from this point on, we're gonna go to the add-on calendar. And we're gonna go straight down the calendar, starting from position number 3, Mr. Macedo.
Evening, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Macedo. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004970C with loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 7 cycles out of Georgia and 7 cycles out of Alabama. Last arrest was out of Fulton County, October 17, 2023, for criminal damage to property and entering auto. That is an open case. The case number is 24 SC 001370. A 2018 conviction for driving on an expired tag, 2022 convictions from 2022 for theft by taking, and 1 conviction from 2022 for theft by receiving stolen property. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
We'd agree with the recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor. The defendant does have an open entering auto, which I would argue we have probable cause for on this case, although I was unable to transfer it today. He was observed at 5 a.m. by the owner of the vehicle in question here inside the parking deck at the location at 1845 Piedmont Road Northeast. He had a mask on his face and was standing at the back of the vehicle going through papers that he had just removed from the car. There was a long bar standing next to the passenger side back tire that had obviously been used to open the door that was standing open, and the console in the middle of the car between the passenger front and driver's seat was open. The victim of this case, the owner of the car, actually observed this gentleman and interacted with him. The police were called. So we would request a level 3 at least, and a $3,000 bond, Your Honor. If you're not inclined to do level 3, we'd ask for a surety bond. This gentleman has multiple convictions for theft of motor vehicles, as well as an entering auto that's very similar to the facts I just explained.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, and we would ask that if $3,000 bond is to be imposed, that it be a signature bond. Our concern here, Judge, is that my client is homeless. He indicated that he does some day labor type work, but our concern would be that any bond that he would not be able to make, he would be stranded at Fulton County Jail.
So is a 2023 criminal damage to property that's open, is that in Fulton County, Ms. Allen?
It is, Your Honor, and he was just released from jail after receiving credit for time served on 2 misdemeanor cases. That is, let's see, his 24 SC 001370 is what he's currently on bond for. And that's entering auto.
All right, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from the Piedmont Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Are you renting there? Are you
Good luck to you, sir.
Next is gonna be position number 4, Mr. McMullen.
Good afternoon, Mr. McMullen. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004969E with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hey.
History out of Georgia and 1 cycle out of Virginia. Last arrest was March 30th, 2024 for a probation violation with the Sandy Springs Police Department. That also appears to be an active hold out of Sandy Springs, Your Honor. A 2014 DUI conviction, 2017 possession of a Schedule 5 controlled substance, 2018 theft by shoplifting, 2 convictions from 2019 for theft by shoplifting, 2020 giving a false name or birthday to a law enforcement officer, 2022 DUI and driving on a suspended license, 2 FTAs and 3 probation violations in the history. Has an open case out of Fulton County, Your Honor, that he's currently on pretrial for. We'll be doing a bond surrender today for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer by use of threats or violence and simple battery against a police officer. Case number 24 PI 002208. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
Your Honor, we'd be in agreement with that recommendation. The defendant was located on the 21st of July at the Hamilton E. Homes Concourse. That's MARTA at 70 Hamilton E. Homes. He was approached and asked to leave. He was laying on the ground. He refused to leave, not just the directives by MARTA staff, but by police when they responded. He asked for medical help. When medical help was brought to him, he then refused it. It was noted he had a permanent ban to stay away from every MARTA location that has been issued March 27, 2024. I've never seen a permanent ban. I've only ever seen a year or a shorter period. There are current open cases that you just heard about for violence and prior history that includes substance abuse as well as shoplifting and drugs. So we would ask for a level 3 bond, Your Honor.
Do you have the bond that he's currently on the obstruction and simple battery charge, Ms. Allen?
Let me pull it.
See who gave that to him, please. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Judge. We're not opposed to a bond through pretrial. However, we are asking for a signature bond, especially given the fact that this was a criminal trespass where my client was seeking medical attention. It does seem that that was the impetus for him making contact with the authorities at MARTA.
Okay. Ms. Allen.
Yes, Your Honor. The bond on his current open case is through the Superior Court. It is for wrap services. I think there was a adjustment done. One moment. That was from March. And that's all I see.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
It'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial levels 3. Stay away from MARTA as instructed, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 5 in ACDC, Ms. Nicolette Miller.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Miller. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004968H with simple assault family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First arrest. Recommendation is a SOB jail. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. We'd be in agreement with that request or suggestion. The incident, Your Honor, in this case is looks like an exchange of custody. This was on July the 20th of 2024 at 3390 Fairburn Road Southwest. She's charged with a simple assault based on swatting or trying to assault the father of the child that they share. His name is Robert Graham, Graham. I do not believe we've been able to make contact with Mr. Graham. If you could sound for him. I'm not sure what the situation is with this family, whether they're married or this child has been legitimated or the father has parental rights or there's been an issue with that between either of them. But we would ask for no violent contact and third-party transfer of the children. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you seeking no contact and no violent contact?
I'm going to leave that to your discretion. Perhaps we can
Okay.
see if Mr. Graham is on the line.
Okay, Mr. Graham, Robert Graham's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Graham, you able to activate your camera for me?
This is family.
Okay, this isn't Robert Graham.
I just said. No. No.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you all for being here. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, we would not be opposed to a signature bond through the jail. To give some additional context, Judge, we would be asking for no further violent contact. The reason being is that my client lives in Jacksonville, Florida. She is currently in this is an ex-husband or an ex-partner of hers where they do have a child in common. They do have a co-parenting agreement where essentially the child transfers custody on a monthly basis where they'll spend a month in Florida and a month here. And that's the additional context needed to justify the no further violent contact, Judge. They don't live with each other. This is purely the contact that they have with each other is purely related to the co-parenting agreement.
Okay. As such, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Mr. Graham. Abide by any pre-existing custody agreements. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Ms. Miller.
Next is going to be position number 6, Mr. Rodney Noble-Drew in courtroom 2.
Good afternoon, Mr. Noble-Drew. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004955Y with criminal trespass, willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, and possession and use of drug-related objects. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 38 cycles. Last arrest was May 2nd, 2024, out of Fulton County for theft by taking and possession of tools for commission of a crime. That case was dismissed. 2000 conviction for theft by receiving stolen property. 2004 theft by receiving stolen property. 2007 purchase, possession, control of drugs, and battery. 2009 false statements, driving on a suspended license. 2020 criminal damage to property in the second degree, and a 2020 conviction for criminal attempt to commit entering auto. Recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor, is a level 3. Nothing further.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on July the 20th of 2024. Although it is an ongoing situation, there's a civil action that has been filed related to the property in this case. This is a house at 1778 Lakewood Avenue. It is the property of an estate. The owner in 2017 passed away. His caretaker took possession of the property, although they had no right to do so. And since then, this gentleman in front of you, Mr. Noble Drew, and some of his acquaintances have been conveying false deeds and claims to the property and refusing to leave the property. It's a situation that's made aware of through law enforcement. They've posted a do not trespass, do not come into the location. And at this point, it's actually been declared unfit to reside in and is being demolished at some point soon. This is the residence owned by the estate of a gentleman named William Kraus, Kraus. When police came to the location on the 20th of July, 2024, he and another gentleman were at the location. When police explained to this other gentleman that they were not allowed to be there, he left. Unfortunately, Mr. Noble Drew decided to argue with the police and even pointed out the no trespassing sign on the front door. He then resisted Officer Weaver, who tried to get him to obey some commands, put his hands behind his back. He was trying to pull away and ignoring commands. He was taken to the ground in order to be cuffed. The police verified that they'd been to the location previously, that he'd been told repeatedly not to return or he'd been arrested. When he was searched incident to arrest, they found a glass pipe commonly used to inhale or ingest drugs. We made contact with the neighbors who are unfortunately having to deal with this situation because, be clear, Mr. Noble Drew does not have any claim to this property whatsoever. They reported that this has been ongoing for years, that there's a civil action related to this incident, and they're concerned that there's substance abuse and mental health. So we'd be requesting an evaluation, stay away, no contact whatsoever with the resident, Stephen Locke, L-O-K, next door. The location itself, the property of William Kraus or his estate, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we'd be requesting a $3,000 surety bond, Your Honor, one count on each charge. Thank you.
Mr. Trejo?
Judge, we would ask for a signature bond in this case. My client is homeless, hence his continued returning to that property. Regarding items recovered or tools recovered, my client has represented to me that he works as a handyman and in carpentry. Hence, these tools are the way that he makes the meager livelihood that he is able to make. Judge, we have no opposition to any evaluation. Judge, or a stay away order. The one piece that my client is concerned with, Judge, regarding the stay away order is that he indicated that he does have items of his that may still be at the property. And Judge, we don't want to get into a situation where he's going back to get items and he continues to be rearrested. Although it's not typical in this kind of situation where it is not actually his home, we would ask if it's possible to have a one-time law enforcement escort. If there are any items remaining at the property, that he be given the opportunity to at least retrieve those things and then be done with his time at that location.
Okay, Mr. Trejo, are you requesting an MHET, a BHET? What type of evaluation are you seeking?
I think an MHET could be appropriate, Judge.
Okay, and you do understand that he's going to be in custody pending that evaluation?
What are you talking about?
Okay, Judge, in that case, Judge, let's not do the MHET. I think the priority is just getting him out and getting him moving.
Okay, just give us a second, Norris, if you can mute for me for a moment. Thank you. So, Typically, Mr. Trejo, if you're requesting an MHET, I'm going to give him a surety bond. And he is not, and then he'll have to be evaluated and you'll have to deal with competency court that we have every Thursday. So why don't we, given where we are at the present time, and I'm not sure if he needs an MHET, that's normally if he's competent or not. If you want me to order a BHET, have him have a social worker visit, maybe assist him with some housing, I'm happy to do that. But if you're requesting something different, you let me know and
Yes, Judge, and I think given the circumstances, I think having a social worker visit in terms of assisting with housing, I think that would be most relevant. In my speaking with him, I did not get any sense that he is not competent at the moment.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we would agree and join in a recommendation for a social worker visit, but we would absolutely object to any order that allows this gentleman to return to the location at all. Thank you.
If he has items there, how should he go about getting them?
Well, I would argue if he's had items there for the last few years that this has been going on, he's had ample time to get them. He argued with police about whether or not he was supposed to be there, knew he was aware that there was an order requiring he not be at the location. And you just heard testimony that he is homeless. And if he has tools at that location, I'm not sure how valuable they are to him. He's living and squatting in a house that is about to be demolished, that there's been a substantial issue over. And he is asking for a sign-on bond because he can't afford to pay his bond. So I'm not sure what kind of construction he's doing, but it's not working.
All right. So for each charge, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, which makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Stay away from the Lakewood Avenue address. No further contact with, I believe it's Stephen Locks, nor with any of the relatives of the estate of William Krause. Social worker visit to help him with housing. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. If he does have items in that house and wants to retrieve them, he'll have to go through the civil process to get that done. Okay. Good luck to you, Mr. Nobledrew.
Next on, we're going to go to position number 7, Mr. Marcel Norman.
Good afternoon, Mr. Norman. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004956G with criminal trespass and damage to property, criminal trespass, and simple assault, family violence. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. 1 cycle out of Georgia and 4 cycles out of Oklahoma. Last arrest was July 16th, 2024 for criminal trespass out of Fulton County. That case number is 24 CR 004798G. That is an open case. A 2023 conviction for unauthorized use of a vehicle and a 2023 possession of controlled substance. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Have you,
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that took place on the 21st of July. The victim in this case is the mother of this young man. I believe her name is Letitia Carson. I have Latisa, but also Leceita Carson. She may be on the line, so if we could sound for her when the time is appropriate. She called the police and reported that he'd been visiting the location for a little over a week. He had caused damage to her residence and she needed him to leave. He'd been previously escorted off the property and given a verbal trespass warning on the 16th of July by police. On the 21st, the victim contacted the police again and reported that he had returned and had argued with his sister because his sister was refusing to give cash to him. The sister's name is Michaela Norman, Makayla, who also is listed with the same address. When the request for money was denied, the defendant began damaging the residence. The mother of this young man was able to lock the door, and he was outside in the neighborhood in the yard where it was reported that people heard him yelling and screaming and walking around talking on the phone. When police arrived, they observed him on the property still yelling into his phone. And they went into the location. They saw fresh holes punched in the wall, broken glass on the floor, a broken remote control. The room looked ransacked. There was a broken chair on the ground. The mother in this situation told police at the time that she was fearful and she was afraid of being assaulted. I would note that we were able to speak with her. She reported that she and her daughter, Michaela, reside at the location, 2714 Noble Creek Drive. She reported that the defendant and his sister had been arguing for a few days and it got out of control and she wasn't able to mediate. She has changed her position, and although she reported to the police on the 21st that she was fearful and there was obvious corroboration of what she told police based on the evidence on scene, she is now saying she doesn't mind if he comes back. And we would argue that's not in her best interest. The state is charged with keeping not just this mom and sister safe, but the public safe. And the behavior of this young man on the 21st of July creates an issue. He's got criminal trespass, damage to property, and the simple assault for making his mother fearful. And we would ask for a $2,000 surety bond, Your Honor, and to stay away from the location and no further contact.
Okay,
Down for the victim, Mrs. Carson.
and while I do that, if you will check for me the open criminal trespass, the bond on that for me and who issued it. I'd appreciate it. Ms. Carson, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I will need for you to raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You can place your hand down, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
The no contact with Marcel, I don't want it to be like that. You know, it's my son. So I feel like that's pretty unreasonable to issue a no contact order. I really need him to go to some type of anger management class, some type of rehab, because I believe he's doing drugs. I don't think, you know, he's got some anger issues for sure, but I think it's precipitated by drugs.
Okay. You've been having some problems with Marcel. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Off and on.
And your problems have gotten to an extent that you found it necessary to call the police?
Yes.
And has this happened before? Have you had to call the police before in regards to Marcel?
No.
All right. Does he live with you in the household, or does he live someplace else?
He lives with me.
Your Honor, I do have the bond. It is for the prior location and the same victim. It is ordered no contact and not to return to the location. Let's see. The signature on the bond is Judge Law from July the 17th, so just last week. Not violate the laws, no contact with the victim, Letitia Carson, and stay away from 2714 Noble Creek Drive. So within days, that order of the court has been violated.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Carson, your son was not supposed to be near you, nor was he supposed to be in your household. He is violating another judge's order by doing that. It does you or him no good to allow him to violate what a judge has instructed him to do or not to do. So just let me say that. So he already has a no further contact with you. So I'm not going to go the other way, nor can I do anything about that other bond. So until these matters at this point are resolved, he can have no contact with you and he cannot be at that location, just so you know that. All right, Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, if the court is to keep that stay away order in place, given that he had been staying with his mother, we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve any items that are still at the house. I'm not sure if that was part of the original bond signed by Judge Law. And Judge, we would ask for a signature bond through pretrial. My client is not working. He's back and forth between his mother's house and family in Oklahoma. And so we would ask for a signature bond.
I don't generally give signature bonds to people who have already received signature bonds and have violated those bonds. I don't go the other way. I am on the SAP calendar on August 6th, which is the next calendar for this. Let's see, Ms. Bridgewater, did you get the case number of the other open case?
No, sir. Will you repeat it, please? Someone, please.
24 CR 004798G. Okay. You will put both of these on that calendar for me.
August 6th, yes, sir.
Okay. At this point in time, it is going to be $1,000 good bond on each charge, makes for a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Carson or Ms. Norman. Stay away from the Noble Creek Drive address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while I'm out on bond. Ms. Carson, that's the order of the court. If you keep allowing this young man to stay with you, you obviously cannot control him. You're having to call the police. You're not doing him any favors by allowing him to violate the court's orders. As such, if he does not get out, I will see him again personally on August 6th. Ms. Carson, you can be at that hearing if you choose to be. And I'll see him back at that time if he remains in custody. Okay. Good luck to you all. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we're going to go back to ACDC, and it's going to be position number 14, Ms. Anissa Scott.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Scott. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004963F with battery family violence, 2 counts. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
No, Your Honor. First, no adult history. Recommendation is a jail. Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that occurred on the 20th of July. The victim in this case, there are 2 victims in this case. All 3 of these individuals live together at a point. The main victim in this case is the ex-boyfriend of Mrs. Scott. His name is Darius Denson, D-A-R-I-U-S, I believe. Denson, D-E-N-S-O-N. Police were called to the location at 1123 Westmount Road, Southwest. It's reported that the defendant was there packing up her things after a breakup. During that time, an argument ensued. She struck Mr. Denson multiple times and then used a small metal trash can to strike him in the face, causing an abrasion on his right cheek. Shanice McGill, S-H-A-N-I-C-E, McGill, M-C-G-I-L-L, was also present and is also a roommate. She is actually the sister of the owner of the location. She reported that when she tried to step in and de-escalate, the defendant punched her in the abdomen and struck her in the face with a clear storage container. She was seen to have a small knot on her face and a cut to her right cheek. She was struck multiple times. Our office has been in contact with both of the individuals. Mr. Denson reported that there's no history, but he is concerned about retaliation. He is requesting no contact and a stay away from the location. At this point, she has no other belongings there. Mrs. McGill also reported she'd had no issues with the defendant previously. She has petitioned the court for a temporary protective order and has requested no contact and to stay away from the location. We would agree with the recommendation from pretrial.
Okay, if Mr. Denson or Ms. McGill, either on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Trejo?
Judge, we have no objection to a signature bond through the jail, given my client's lack of history. Further, Judge, as the state mentioned, my client was in the process of moving out. She's represented to me that she has another place to stay, so there's no need for her to go back to the location. She's not interested in going back to the location, and she's not interested in having any further contact with either of these individuals.
And I'm sorry if the recommendation was a SOB through the jail. I'd request pretrial.
It was.
Okay, yeah. I'd request pretrial supervision, Your Honor. Thank you.
Well, I believe based on SB 63 that I have to send it through pretrial. So, Ms. Shanice McGill, I believe, is that you, Ms. McGill?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you like to address the court this afternoon?
Yes, and also to correct the spelling of my name.
Okay, if you can raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can place your hand down. Why don't we correct the spelling of your name first? How do you spell it?
It's SHANISE. So it's an S instead of a C.
Okay. And what else would you like to tell the court this afternoon?
I'm unsure how this process goes since it's the first one for me, but it seems like everyone's just for the most part going based on the bail conversation. I saw that you did, I did put the TPO in today, but I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that with that stated, if her family members as well are not allowed to come to the property since they have sent a few threats, and that her friends, so not just her, but anyone related to her, whether friend or family, if they can also stay away from the property. I did allow for her friend to come and get her items, but I did request a police escort, and her friend was able to come and get her car. There was no situation there, but there are threats from her father. And so I would just like to make sure that they don't come to the property.
Ms. McGill, this is a bond hearing this afternoon, and it's a bond hearing specifically for Ms. Scott. If you're having issues with other people coming to that property improperly, you can call the authorities, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Anything further this afternoon?
Just to make sure, Ms. Shanice understands a stay away or no contact. No contact would specifically require that this defendant have no contact, but also that she have no contact through third parties. So if you are being contacted through people in her family, that is a violation of the order on the conditions that she's being released. And you should make a police report.
Okay.
All right. Anything further this afternoon, Ms. McGill?
No, that was all.
Okay. Thank you for being here, ma'am. As such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial for each charge, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Mr. Denson or Ms. McGill, stay away from the Westmount Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Scott.
Your Honor, I apologize. What was that bond amount?
$2,000 per charge, so $4,000 signature through pretrial level 1.
Thank you.
Okay.
And next, we're gonna go to Ms. Jaleesa Smith from ACDC, position 15.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. You've been charged in case 24CR004964G with battery and 2 counts of simple battery. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 cycles out of Tennessee. The last arrest was February 18th, 2018 for aggravated assault out of Tennessee. No disposition was listed for that case, Your Honor. Recommendation is SOB jail. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident that happened on the 20th of July at 550 Peachtree Street Northeast, which is a medical facility. The defendant is alleged to have assaulted 3 different emergency personnel. She bit Eric Caswell, that's ERIC-CASWELL, on the forearm, causing a visible bite mark as she was struggling to get out of the restraints on her gurney for the ambulance. She was able to get her arms free and bit the victim, and then he witnessed her striking his partner in the face. She is charged with a simple battery on Mary Ellen, who is the partner being struck to the face. On the right side of her face, that is a simple battery. This is also while being restrained and being disorderly. And then the last person was Laura Slivka Villalon, and that's SLIVKA-VILLALON. Doctor was trying to administer medicine, and the continued attempt to restrain this young woman resulted in striking that doctor, or Mrs. Slivka Villalon, on the neck. We would ask that the defendant not return to the location at 550 Peachtree Street Northeast unless she's there for a emergency treatment or a doctor's appointment. No violent contact, or no contact, excuse me, with the 3 listed victims, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, Your Honor.
That's Emory Midtown, is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, we have no objection to a signature bond in this case. As the state mentioned, any stay away order from this location would have to take into account any legitimate reason for her being there. She was seeking medical treatment at the time of the incident, and the charges stem from that interaction, Judge. No objection.
Okay. If Mr. Coswell, Ms. Ellen, or Dr. Silvika Valant are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, as such, it will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial for each charge, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from Emory Midtown at 550 Peachtree Street unless seeking medical treatment, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
And Judge, very briefly, logistically, I'm not sure if these individuals are EMS or what their role is at Emory Midtown. I would hate to get into a situation where she is seeking medical treatment and then comes into contact with one of these folks and then ends up violating her bond. For those reasons, Judge, we would ask for no further violent contact with these 3.
Okay, well, if she is at Emory Midtown seeking medical treatment, she is to have no further violent contact with the individuals.
Okay, great. Thank you, Judge.
If she's not at Emory Midtown seeking treatment, she can't have any contact with them whatsoever. But if she's on the campus of Emory Midtown and she happens to come across them, then that won't be a violation.
Great. I just wanted that to be clear. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Good luck, Ms. Smith. Have next.
Next, you got position number 18, Shernetta York, and ACDC.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. York. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004973E with battery and affray. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 12 cycles. Last arrest March 11, 2023 out of Coweta County for driving on a suspended license. No disposition was listed for that case, Your Honor. Received first offender in 2015 for purchase, possession, control of drugs. That case was sealed in 2018. The 2015 conviction for theft by receiving stolen property. Well, sorry, Your Honor, that case was received under first offender. It was sealed in 2022. 3 FTAs in the history. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident at 2080 Donald D. Hollowell Parkway Northwest. This young woman is a co-defendant with Mrs. Tanisha Brackens, also arrested at the same time. At 12:20 a.m., both ladies were observed to be physically fighting each other at the location address I just stated. That's in front of the Grove Park package store, striking each other with fists. Police shined lights on them and directed them to stop. Both women were detained and neither of them had identification on them. This young lady gave her identification. She was observed to have a laceration above her left eyebrow, and she was charged with striking Mrs. Tanisha Brackens, Brackins, and the first name is Tanisha, striking her with fists. That is based on the visible injury is based on striking her with fists, causing the cut above her lip. This was observed by police. That would be the affray. I believe I submitted a NOD for disorderly. We would request a surety bond, Your Honor, and stay away from that location. No contact whatsoever with co-defendant Brackens, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Yes, Judge, we would ask for a signature bond in this case. My client would not have any issues with a stay away order. She wouldn't have any issue with not having any other contact with this individual. Judge, I do want to put on the record that the other individual was taken into custody because she had warrants out of Union City, whereas my client was taken to Grady for further treatment. My client is from here. She graduated from high school here, has family here. She's not a flight risk. She is not meaningfully employed, Judge. She indicated to me that she braids hair at about $20 a head, $25 a head. So she's not making any meaningful money where she would be able to post a surety bond. And I'm not confident in her ability to have a family member post that surety bond for her.
All right, so for the battery, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the affray, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further contact with Ms. Brackens. Stay away from the Grove Park package store on Donald Lee Parkway address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. York. Are we going to have Ms. Brackens, or is she there? I see that she's on the regular calendar.
Yes, we can go to Ms. Brackens.
John, there was a bit of confusion, I guess. We had so many folks today. I thought I had put in a conflict notice for the last person you saw, and I think Mr. Trose was representing her, and I was representing Ms. Brackens, and I thought I had put in a conflict for Ms. York, I believe was her last name. So now we're kind of stuck.
Well, at this point, you both talked to them, and we've already dealt with Ms. York. Is this Ms. Brackens that's here, ACDC?
Yes.
Okay, so one of them is going to have to get a conflict attorney if necessary as we go forward. What are you going to do with her today? Mr. Cook?
Well, I've spoken to her. I guess we could listen to the recommendation, but
Okay.
I wonder.
All right, let me address her. Good afternoon, Ms. Bracken. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004941E with affray, battery, and giving false information to law enforcement. She's number 3 on the regular calendar. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 26 cycles. Last arrest was March 12, 2024 with the Union City Police Department for criminal trespass. There was no disposition listed, Your Honor. Received first offender in 2008 for aggravated assault and burglary. That case was sealed in 2017. There's a 2010 conviction for possession of cocaine and giving a false name and birthday to a law enforcement officer. Also a 2010 theft by shoplifting. 2013 possession of marijuana less than an ounce. 2014 theft by taking. 2016 willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and disorderly conduct. 2019 disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. At least 2 probation violations and 1 FTA. An open case out of Fulton County for possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and possession and use of drug-related objects. That case number is 23 CP 217745. Recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor, is a level 3 and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. McConkey?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the defendant's history, the state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond on the battery and $500 on the affray and $500 on the giving false information to law enforcement officers, where she gave the false name of Sheikah Ponder and false date of birth of May 6, 1992. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And no further contact with the defendant, York.
Mr. Cook?
Disorderly and false name. Maybe the obstruction was NOD, but not the affray.
Yes,
I can't represent her on the affray at this point. It's conflict. As it turned out, we weren't able to reach any conflict attorneys anyway, so I don't think we're in any worse position than we would have been.
My only thing is you spoke with her, right? You had a conversation with her before and she thought you were representing her today. Is that right, Mr. Cook?
Yes, that's true.
Okay. So do we have someone there that can unmute at ACDC? Is Officer Milton around? Okay. Ms. Brackens, you have a right to be represented by counsel at this hearing today. If you would like, we do not have a conflict attorney available for you. I'm sorry, ma'am. If you would like to proceed pro se without the advice of counsel, you can do that today. If you would like to wait until you can be represented, we'd have to put you back on for tomorrow. What would you like for the court to do today?
I'd like to be represented pro se.
Okay, well, pro se means that you don't want to, that you're not going to have an attorney represent you today, okay?
Okay.
So, is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a place to reside, Ms. Brackens?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Given what I've heard, it's going to be for the affray a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3, for the battery a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3, for the giving false information a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Ms. York. Stay away from the Grove Park package store on Donnelly Parkway, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm going to let you out, Ms. Brackens, but you're going to have to make sure that that you appear for your next court hearing. If you don't, they're going to put a warrant out for you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Brackens. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we're gonna go to the regular SCA calendar. It's gonna be Actually, I'm sorry, it's the add-on number 9, Mr. Johnny Peoples.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Peoples. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004958Y of criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor, 44 cycles. Last arrest was March 18th, 2024 for FTA out of Fulton County. There is an open case out of Fulton County for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and giving a false name or birthday. Open case number is 24 CR 001289Y. There's a 2024 burglary conviction, a 2024 conviction for possession of tools, a 2016 false imprisonment and possession of tools, 2012 burglary, 2008 burglary and theft by taking and theft by receiving stolen property, 2007 theft of lost or mislaid property, 2002 criminal trespass, 1992 theft by taking, 1991 burglary. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Your Honor, this is an incident that occurred on the 18th of July. A silent alarm went off at the location at 1102 Donnelly Avenue Southwest. It is a vacant home owned by Stephanie Dietrich, Deitrich. When police arrived at the location, the defendant was actually inside the residence. He is a known burglary suspect to the police. He ran from police when directed to stop and speak to them. He was tased by Andy Dorsil, Dorsil. That's a APD officer. Lockbox that was supposed to be on the door of the location had been removed and was missing. Police made contact with the owner of the location who reported that this is not the first time there's been an incident. They'd had multiple burglaries. People had stolen some of the, I guess, fixtures in the location like stove, etc. And she reported she did not know the individual and did not allow him or give him access to the location. Given that he is currently on bond, Your Honor, for an open obstruction case, similar facts, I believe. I can look at that bond. We'd be asking for a surety bond, stay away from the location and have no contact with Mrs. Dietrich, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And we would request a substance abuse evaluation, Your Honor.
Okay. If you'll check on that bond for me, I'd appreciate it. If Ms. Dietrich is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, at this time, my client is not meaningfully employed. He indicated that he does some mechanic work from time to time. He also is struggling with some different physical health issues. At this time, given my client's indigence, Judge, we would ask for a signature bond.
Okay. Ms. Allen, are you able to?
Sorry, just when I think I figured it all out. The current bond he has is signed by you March 19th of 2024. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Do not violate the law. And it is a SOB through the jail for a total of $1,000, willful obstruction and false information.
Thank you. All right, for the criminal trespass, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the obstruction, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3 makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Ms. Dietrich. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm letting you sign yourself out, Mr. Peoples, but if I see you here again, you won't get a signature bond next time. You understand me?
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thanks, sir. Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to ACDC again, and we're gonna go to Ms. Sistrong, position number 6.
Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Sistrunk. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004944G with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor, 4 cycles. Last arrest was January 14th, 2019 out of Douglas County for a probation violation. One 2018 conviction for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 1. Nothing further.
Ms. Makaki?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred July 20th, 2024 at 1185 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest in Atlanta. The defendant, the victim, who is her son, and Free Sistrunk, were having a verbal dispute that turned physical when the defendant began to strike the victim with open hand slaps. The defendant was deemed to be the primary aggressor. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. Our office has not had the opportunity to speak with the victim, but I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Anfrey Sistrunk if he is on the line.
You blanked out for a moment, Ms. Makaki. Would you go over the request for the state again for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Anfrey Sistrunk. Our office has not had an opportunity to speak with him.
Thank you. If Mr. Sistrunk is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does it appear so? Mr. Trejo?
This is Mr. Cook's case, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Cook?
Yes. Your Honor, my client is 46 years old, lived in the area about 2 years. This was her son who lived in Chicago, was visiting. He's returned to Chicago. So there obviously should be no need for a stay away or even a contact provision. Really, I'm not sure how often he comes to town. We would be seeking a signature bond to the jail. Her children are adult children, but she has no income. And this was just some kind of one-time incident, and she denies allegations as specifically stated in the warrant. But again, we would be seeking a signature bond to the jail.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with the alleged victim, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Next, we're gonna be add-on number 10, Mr. Sean Rivers.
Excuse me. Good afternoon, Mr. Rivers. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004959H with 2 counts of battery and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 13 cycles out of Florida and 1 cycle out of California. 1 cycle out of Georgia. Last arrest was April 24th, 2023 out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. That case is open under case number 23 CR 002778H. Out of Florida, a 2005 conviction for possession of cannabis. 2006, operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 21st of July. It is unclear how these folks knew each other. The location is 95 8th Street Northwest. It is the same location, I believe, as his current case that is open, where he threw eggs on the vehicle of another resident at that location. That was on video in March of 2023. This incident, I just said, was the 21st of July. third party at the location witnessed the defendant in a physical dispute in the parking lot with two women. He was seen chasing Mrs. Chastity, Chasity Williams, and Mrs. Morgan Davis. He was seen punching Mrs. Williams in the head and pushing her to the ground. She sustained scratches on her arm, on her right arm. He was also seen dragging her out of a vehicle. Miss Morgan was repeatedly punched and then thrown to the ground. When she tried to intervene, she was seen to have a bloody nose on scene. That is also the basis of a battery. Another third-party witness, the concierge at the location, observed the defendant assaulting these women and provided his information to the police. We were able to speak with Mrs. Chastity Williams. She reported that she and the defendant had known each other, I think, through following each other on social media and had met up to hang out. She noticed some strange behavior. She was not going to let the defendant go home with them at the end of the night, and he began to get aggressive. When her friend intervened, that is when this assault occurred. He punched her friend in the face. She reports that she ran barefoot, screaming for help, and was chased down the street. That's what was observed by a third party. The two victims actually live in New York and have been in contact with us by phone. So we expect a little further information, but ultimately this is a stranger assault that sounds absolutely frightening and has third party unrelated witnesses, Your Honor. The defendant is on probation right now for violence against somebody who lives in the same building. So it looks like outbursts and violence or property damage against people who he's not maybe intimately related to is an issue. We would follow pretrial's recommendation for supervision at level 3 or surety bond, Your Honor. No contact whatsoever, especially electronic, and stay away from that location unless, of course, it's still where he lives.
Okay, would you pull that criminal trespass bond for me, please? And let's see, if Chastity Williams or Morgan Davis, if either of you are on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Hi, I'm Chastity Williams. I am here.
Okay, can you activate your camera, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on more than one device? Okay, there we go. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, Ms. Williams?
So essentially, as she said, we are entirely frightened. I've never had a man put his hands on me in my life. We are actually
Come back on camera for me, Ms. Williams.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
I heard her say New York. So we're actually from North Carolina, not New York. So that's where we currently reside in. I have only hung around this man one other time 3 years ago. I just did not want to go inside with him. I even expressed to him that I would come back earlier the next day because we were talking about as a collective hanging out with him the next day. He did not take that well. I walked away. There was no arguing or nothing enough of physical violence, nothing. We didn't do anything to provoke him with how he was. Quite frankly, I was so taken aback by what he did. I thought he was off something. He proceeded to walk away from us into where he resides, and he then came back and said, quote unquote, to give him his money back, bitch, or something in the sense of that, and proceeded to attack me. I threw my hands up is what I was even told. He was hitting me. I got thrown on the floor. I have bruises all over my body. My friend got beat and hit like a grown man. This is a woman. He's hitting on the floor, unconscious, and I'm running away from him, trying to leave, continuously saying to get away from me, to leave me alone, please just let us go. And he proceeded to not listen and proceeded to continue to charge after me, even as the security guard on the scene had tried to help us had tried to help us get in the car as well. I've never, again, I don't even talk to him enough like this for there even to be an obsession it felt like he had towards me this night and how everything happened. The officers were so taken aback by the story he said that seemed similar to ours, but he was quote unquote telling them that I was his girlfriend and lying to the officers saying that we got into an altercation with security. And that was not the case at all. We continuously, you know, my friend really got hit multiple times by this man, just based off of just trying to help me because I didn't want to go.
What do you want? Yeah, I got it. No, you can bring that up.
I'm sorry, go ahead, man.
I genuinely do believe if I would have ended up in his home, which it was exactly where we were there, I had no plans of sleeping with this man this night or anything like that whatsoever. I do believe if I would have got up there by myself and did not have my friends, for goodness sake, I do believe he would have assaulted me and done even worse. I was literally screaming for my life. I am traumatized. Even it was a lot for me to right now to come on here and talk to you guys for this. I do believe the way he did me and did us, I do believe he's done this before, and I do believe he will hurt somebody again. I'm very much in fear for my life, and I'm very scared to even step foot in Atlanta again because I don't know what he will do to me. I am traumatized. We all are.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Williams. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm looking for an actual document, but I do see a $2,000 surety bond issued on April the 24th, 23. It also looks like there was a bond forfeiture done and maybe a set aside. I'm going to see if I can find an actual document.
Okay, thank you. Who's representing Mr. Rivers?
That's me, Judge.
Okay, yes, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Judge. We would object to a stay away order. This is my client's address. These individuals do not stay in Atlanta. My client's representation to me was that there was another altercation going on that he was involved with, as insofar as separating other folks who were fighting. My client does not have contact with these individuals. He does not really know these individuals. He indicated to me that it was some friends of friends or some other more attenuated contacts with them. He indicated to me that while he was previously gainfully employed, he had been out of work for several months. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we would ask for a signature bond.
Anything further, Ms. Allen?
I do not see a copy of the bond. I will note that this defendant failed to appear for arraignment in July of 2023. Rule nisi was issued and forfeiture was actually set aside. He was given another court date. It doesn't look like he changed his address, so I'm not sure what the issue was. He was just put on an arraignment calendar in January, but that notice came back, returned to sender. Again, I don't believe he's changed his address, so I'm not sure what that notice issue would have been. But he does have a surety bond, so we would be arguing.
Somehow you went on mute, Ms. Allen.
Sorry, he needs to be monitored. We would request a surety bond, Your Honor. This case has 3 charges. We'd ask for $2,000 on each.
So is Mr. Jordan, is it a 2,000? Hold on, Mr. Rivers. What are you talking about?
I'm
This
sorry, Judge. That was on the previous case that you were asking about. He never appeared on the SCA calendar because he posted bond before the accusations were filed.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, Ms. Bridgewater, again, if you could place both of these on the SAP calendar on August 6th for me. Did you get the number of?
No, sir. I need that number again.
I believe it's 23 CR 002778H.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And so for this, these charges, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. I'll let Mr. Trejo speak for you. Mr. Trejo, do you need to speak with your client?
Yes, Judge, if we'd be placing a brief breakout, just so I can make sure that if there's anything that he wants represented to the court, so we can discuss it.
Okay, so if you can you call courtroom 2?
Yeah, Your
Yes,
Honor.
Judge, we'll do that now.
Trejo can call extension 22060, and we can move on to the next case if you like.
Yes, please, thank you.
Go over there, sit in that chair, talking that phone. And we're gonna go to add-on 11 and 12, Mr. Rowe.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Rowe. You've been charged in case 24CR004960E with simple battery family violence, and in case 24CR004961E with battery family violence and theft by taking. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 8 cycles out of Georgia and 10 out of Tennessee. Last arrest was December 26, 2023 for simple assault. That case number is 21CR000949E. There's a received first offender in 2019 for aggravated assault in possession of a firearm or knife during the commission of a felony. That case was sealed this year. 2 FTAs and 1 probation violation in the history. Recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor, is a level 3. Nothing further to add.
And this is Mr. Cook's case, is that right? Somebody let me know, this is Mr. Cook's case?
This is Trejo's case, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's why we can't proceed until.
We can't proceed with anything because actually we can go to position number 11 in ACDC. Is that you?
What's the name?
Francis?
Yeah.
We can go to ACDC and go to Raven Francis, position number 11. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't get through everything. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. Francis. You've been charged in case 24CR004949G with theft by taking and possession or use of drug-related objects. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey? You're on mute, Ms. Harvey.
Sorry.
Okay.
6 cycles out of South Carolina and 3 cycles out of Georgia. Last arrest was January 19th, 2024 for simple battery out of Atlanta. There's a 2020 conviction for disorderly conduct and a 2021 conviction for DUI. Appears to have an open case out of Fulton County for simple battery. That case number is 24CR000420G. Also on probation out of Fulton County for simple assault. Case number 23CR005685G. Sentence date was October 5th, 2023 for that case. Recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor, is a level 3. Nothing further.
Okay. Ms. McConkey?
This incident occurred July 20th, 2024 at the Scheller College of Business on the Georgia Tech campus, 800 W Peachtree Street Northwest in Atlanta. The defendant is accused of stealing a red Schwinn Sanctuary 7 cruiser bike belonging to the Georgia Tech Police Department from the bicycle rack on the Georgia Tech campus. She was observed by officers riding the vehicle. Upon being detained, officers also found a broken glass pipe with residue in her left pocket and a pipe with white residue in her right pocket. The state's recommendation is a $500 surety bond on the theft by taking, a $500 surety bond on the possession and use of drug-related objects. Stay away from all Georgia Tech campus, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 24 years old, has lived in the area about 2 years. She's not working. She is residentially challenged. We would be asking for a signature bond through the jail. We have no issue with any kind of stay away or any conditions like those.
Okay, for the theft, there would be a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the possession, use of drug-related objects, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Georgia Tech campus. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Francis.
Your Honor,
Okay,
what's the bond amount for the death by taking?
4,000 signature through pretrial level 1.
Thank you. And we
We'll
will
go
go back, yeah, to add on number 10, Mr. Sean Rivers.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Trejo.
Yes, Judge, my client only had questions regarding his previous failures to appear. He indicated that he did, as Mr. Jordan attested, he didn't receive a court notice. He went down to the courthouse to sign for a new court date. He indicated that he's not currently on probation. That's what he was represented to me.
Okay. He still has his hand up. Okay. So for the
I ain't know about it. I didn't want to wait for you to say something before I speak.
Okay, again, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. Quite often, Mr. Rivers, people want to say something to me and they think it's going to be helpful, and it ends up, you understand that there are solicitors on the line that are prosecuting you, and anything that you say can, excuse me, can be used against you. That's why I wanted Mr. Trejo to present any concerns that you might have, given that he is, he's the lawyer, and I would address those concerns. So that's why I allowed you to speak with him, so that he could address those on your behalf. Is there something else that I need to know, Mr. Trejo?
Judge, I've already informed the court of what Mr. Rivers and I discussed.
Okay. As such, for the battery, it's going to be a $1,500 good bond. For the possession, a $500 good bond. For the second battery, a $1,500 good bond. It makes for a total of a $3,500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Davis. No further contact with Ms. Williams. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. If you don't get out on bond, Mr. Rivers, I will see you back for both your cases on August 6th. Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who do we have next?
Next, we're going to go back to ACDC and go to position number 15, Brenda Jordan.
And Ms.
Before we go back there, Judge, repeat Mr. Rivers' bonds again.
Each battery is a $1,500 good bond. The possession is a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $3,500 good bond.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Jordan, good afternoon. You have been charged in case 24 CR 004954J with interference with custody. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
One cycle, Your Honor, from 1998 for criminal damage to property. Recommendation is a SOB jail. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen, Ms. Pataki?
It's me, Your Honor. This incident occurred July 13th, 2024 at 3442 Valley Ridge Terrace Southwest in Atlanta. The defendant is accused of not giving the minor child, Adira Jordan, who is 5 years old, back to the child's mother, Michelle Jordan, who is the defendant's daughter. Officers had a similar issue with the parties on July 5th, 2024, when Michelle Jordan came to the defendant's house to pick up the child. During the July 5th incident, Ms. Jordan was intoxicated, and because officers observed that the child was in good health and the defendant's home was safe, they allowed the defendant to keep the child until Ms. Jordan was sober. The defendant told police that Ms. Jordan has a drinking problem, is unstable, and doesn't have a place to stay. At the time of the incident, at the time of the July 13th incident, Ms. Jordan did have a booking confirmation number for a hotel room in East Point to stay with the minor child. Our office has spoken to Ms. Michelle Jordan, who stated that she believes the defendant has dementia and that dementia has gotten worse. She stated the defendant kicked her out of the residence on July 3rd and kept her daughter in the house and would not give her back. Ms. Jordan further stated that the defendant has had her daughter until she was arrested. The defendant also has bars on her windows, and no one can get in or out of the home without a key that only the defendant has, and this is according to Ms. Jordan. She stated that her daughter told her the defendant kept food from her, and she also stated that her daughter had bruises on her body when she returned. The victim states that the defendant needs to get help. The state is recommending a signature bond For this defendant, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. Due to the officer stating that the child was in good health and the home was safe, we are not recommending a stay away to allow any custody issues to be handled by a different court or by DFACS. But of course, we will defer to the court in regards to that. I do believe that Michelle Jordan is on the Zoom, so I would ask the court to sound for her.
Okay, before I do that, the Valley Ridge Terrace address, whose address is that?
I believe that is a defendant's address, and she kicked Michelle Jordan out of that home.
Okay, and Michelle Jordan is her daughter.
Yes, Michelle Jordan is her daughter,
and
the
the
minor child is the defendant's granddaughter.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Michelle Jordan, if you're on the line and wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You'll need to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Okay. Ms. McConkey, just so I make sure that I'm correct about this, who was allegedly intoxicated with?
Michelle Jordan was allegedly intoxicated on July 5th, and so officers let the child stay with the defendant until Michelle Jordan, who's the child's mother, could sober up.
Okay. So it's Brenda Jordan's house. She'd allowed her daughter to stay there. She was taking care of her grandchild and had some problems with that because of possibly some problems with alcohol.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that Michelle was staying at the house with her mother and her daughter. Michelle Jordan was kicked out of the house. Her mother kept custody of the minor child. Michelle tried to come back to the house to take the minor child. The defendant would not allow her to take the child.
Okay. It doesn't appear that Ms. Michelle Jordan wants to address the court. As such, Mr. Cook.
Yes, I expect these charges will go away at some point. Michelle Jordan, the mother of the child, has been related to me, but my client is frequently, if not almost always, intoxicated and generally homeless.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is not the basis for the charge in this case. The basis is interfering with custody of a child.
No, but we believe that since it is a bond hearing, we should be able to relate some mitigating factors that might go into the behavior of my client.
Mr. Cook, I'm going to give your client a signature bond through the jail, okay?
That's fine.
It's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. And as the state's requested, as far as contact and custody goes, it'll be no further violent contact with either of the parties. And they're going to have to go through a different court as far as custody of the child goes. So,
thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Jordan.
And Your Honor, I just wanted to get some confirmation on someone we had on the pull sheet. Miss Leslie Mitchell was on the pull sheet, but she's not on the calendar. Was she upgraded?
Yes, that was a felony case taken by the DA's office. It's transferred.
Thank you. Appreciative. So we're going to go back to add-on 11 and 12, Mr. Rowe.
Okay. Mr. Trehill had already addressed your client. Unfortunately, you were in speaking with your other client. Would you like me to have pretrial go back over the history?
If you don't mind, Judge, please.
Yeah, that's fine. Ms. Harvey, can you give me the history again on Mr. Rowe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
8 cycles out of Georgia and 10 cycles out of Tennessee. The last arrest was December 26, 2023 for simple assault. That is an open case, case number 21 CR 000949E. Received first offender in 2019 for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. That case was sealed in 2024. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Allen.
Your Honor, the defendant is currently out on bond for a simple assault, family violence against a different victim. That's 21 CR 000949E. That's a $1,000 surety bond. He also has a failure to appear on that case. Not sure what the status is right now. I believe Your Honor signed that bond. These are two cases. One is a delayed arrest. It happened in January of this year. The victim in both cases name is Shanika Rivers, Shenika. They previously lived together. The simple battery family violence charge based on the battery family violence charge based on the January 11, 2024 incident. There was an argument that started because of going through the phone, seeing things that people don't like. I believe the victim was going through the defendant's phone. This escalated physically as he was trying to get his phone back from her. He grabbed her by her neck. The defendant was not on scene at that time. He took her cell phone with him when he fled. The police tried to call the cell phone, a iPhone 14 valued at $1,100, but it would not connect, and they weren't able to communicate with the defendant in order to get the phone back. The victim reported that there had been prior violence. In June, the second case on the docket, Your Honor, of this year, June the 30th of 2024, the victim reported that she saw the defendant outside where she lives, and she responded and approached him asking for some money that he owed her. He began recording her and then suddenly slapped her in the face as he was recording her, causing her to fall. That fall made her bruise the pinky toe on her foot and get a laceration on her leg that was visible to police. She reported that he kicked her in the face and slapped her. The victim reported that these arguments continue. He will not stop hitting her, and she's made multiple reports to the police in the past. We have reached out to the victim and have not been successful yet, but we are in contact. We would be asking for a surety bond on each of these cases, a total of $3,000. So $1,000 on the simple battery from June family violence of this year, and $1,000 on each count for the January 11, 2024 battery and theft by taking, Your Honor. No contact, stay away from the location, or the victim's location, her residence. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Rivers is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Judge, my client indicated to me that even though he has a degree, Judge, he was previously gainfully employed in a field related to his degree. However, he has not been working in 2 years. He was laid off during the COVID-19 pandemic and has not been able to secure gainful employment since then. He indicated that he does some side hustles and sells shoes, things of that nature. So we do have concerns about a surety bond and his ability to get out of jail, given his lack of income. He does have substantial ties to Atlanta. He indicated to me that he is from here, Judge. He is divorced, but he does coach a little league here in Atlanta. He does have family members here, and he does have children here who he supports and who live with him part-time. Judge, again, the main thing here is the indigence. He indicated to me that he was compliant with the police during this most recent incident in June, and for those reasons, we would ask for a signature bond. And he also has health issues. He indicated to me that he has pins in his hand and that he is seeking ongoing treatment for injuries to his hand and arm.
I'm concerned, Mr. Trejo, because apparently he has already failed to appear on a good bond that I previously gave him. Let's see. For the simple battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For the theft by taking, it'll be a $500 good bond. So it'll be a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further contact with Shanika Rivers. Stay away from Ms. Rivers' address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Rowe.
Next, we're gonna go to position number 13 on the add-on, Mr. Terry Scaife. Scaife.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Scaife. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004962G with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor, 26 cycles out of Georgia and 3 cycles out of Texas. Last arrest was for criminal trespass, January 20th, 2020, out of Fulton County. A 2001 conviction for disorderly conduct, 2007 disorderly conduct, 2008 criminal trespass. Also has criminal trespass convictions from 2009, 2011, 2013, 2016, a 2020 disorderly conduct. Recommendation for pretrial is a level 2 and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Your Honor, we would agree with the recommendation from pretrial. This is an incident that occurred at the Waffle House at 135 Andrew Young International Boulevard on July the 21st at about 10:36 a.m. The police responded to a call about a gentleman who had been asked to leave and refused. On scene, they encountered the defendant who matched the description, laying on the ground and leaning against the building. Manager Gary Greer, Grier, reported that the defendant had been aggressive when they had told him he needed to leave. He cussed at the police and called officer a Donald Trump bitch and refused to move. When police rolled the defendant over in order to help him get up, he resisted by stiffening. They rolled him over and were able to put handcuffs on him. He was then reporting back pain and slow to walk. He looked like he'd been involved in an altercation. The officers then took him to Grady to be cleared. He was arrested for criminal trespass and just willful obstruction for refusing to comply. That's all.
Okay. Mr. Trejo?
And Judge, my client is indigent. He's not working. He is homeless. He indicated to me that he's been in Atlanta for 23 years and he has been homeless for 23 years. As you can tell by his record, he continues to have criminal trespass charges, Judge. We would ask for a signature bond. However, Judge, as condition of that pretrial, we would ask for a social worker visit.
Okay. It'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Level 2 on each charge makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Level 2, social worker visit to assist with housing. Stay away from the Waffle House, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Scaife.
Thank you. Next is going to be position number 16. Mr. Ulysses Smith.
Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. You've been charged in case 24 CR 004965C with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, and equipment violation headlights. Is there a history?
11 cycles out of Georgia and 2 cycles out of Illinois. Last arrest was July 11th, 2023 for driving on suspended or revoked license with the Atlanta Police Department. No disposition was listed, Your Honor. Out of Illinois, a 2012 conviction for aggravated battery. Recommendation from pretrial is a level 3 and nothing further.
Alan?
Your Honor, this is a traffic stop and DUI investigation from July the 21st. The defendant was observed to be driving without a headlight on one side in the front of his vehicle. He also was observed failing to maintain his lane in a safe manner. He was pulled over by police and appeared to be intoxicated. There are no scientific tests in this case, Your Honor. This is a less safe arrest. We would be asking for a $2,000 bond through pretrial. Level 3, I believe, is what Ms. Harvey just requested. We would agree with that. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Any objection to any of that, Mr. Trejo?
No, Judge.
Okay, for the DUI, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the failure to maintain lane, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Headlights, a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Smith.
You Judge.
You're welcome.
Yana,
Yes.
the last one we have is position number 17, Mr. Benny Wilson. He's a waiver.
Okay. And is he the last one?
I believe so. I believe so, Yana. You missing something?
Nope, you're right. He is. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's see. Mr. Wilson was charged. Case 24 CR 004913J with criminal trespass. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor, 39 cycles. Last arrest was June 14th, 2024 for criminal trespass. That is an open case under case number 24 CR 003828J. Also has an additional open case for criminal trespass under case number 23 CR 002735J. 2012 conviction for forgery in the first degree, 2008 theft of lost or mislaid property, 2004 purchase, possession, control of drugs, 2002 forgery conviction, 1995 criminal trespass. The recommendation from pretrial, Your Honor, is a level 3 and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Allen? You're on mute again.
Is this gentleman on the
It's
add-on?
getting late. Yes, he's on the regular calendar, number 17.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is an incident that occurred on the 19th of July. The victim in this case is Hussein, Hussain, last name Lalani, Lalani. This took place at a Chevron gas station at 180 Ponce de Leon Avenue Northeast. Police responded to a physical assault. On the scene, witness Mr. Jayday, Jayday, reported that another employee at the location had been struck. They showed police video of the incident and reported that this defendant had previously been criminally trespassed from the location in May of 2024. The victim was spoken to. He reported that when he told the defendant who came into the location that he had been told he wasn't supposed to be there, the defendant began cursing at him and struck him in the head. The criminal trespass he was originally charged with has a now simple battery added to it, Your Honor. We would ask for a signature or surety bond and some conditions. Obviously, stay away from the location at 180 Ponce de Leon. That's the Chevron. Have no contact with Mr. Lalani. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. He's got 2 open cases, Your Honor. This is a issue.
Let's see. The simple battery didn't make my calendar. Do you have that? Everything you need on that, Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, sir, I do. They told me to add it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Cook, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, my client has lived in the area for 30 years. He is homeless. He has no income, and we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. Again, that's about all the information I was able to glean from him.
And tell me again, I'm sorry, Ms. Harvey, the open cases. You with me, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Judge, what was that? I'm sorry.
The open cases for Mr. Wilson, are they cases that are in Fulton County, and what are the charges again for me?
Yes, Your Honor, they're both out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. Would you like the case numbers again?
Yes, please.
24 CR 003 828J and 23 CR 002 735J.
Thank you. And Ms. Allen, do you have those bonds for me?
Pulling them up now. He appeared in SCA on the 23 CR case in May of last year. The order for release, May the 2nd. Release to pad, stay away from 215 Peachtree, which is a Hard Rock Cafe, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. He had a $3,000 SOB through the jail at that time. The other case, 24 was just released on the 15th of June. That's Judge Mincy's order. Same location, stay away from the Chevron gas station at 180 Ponce de Leon. No violation of the law. He has a total bond of $2,000 SOB through the jail. We'd be asking for these to be a surety at this point, Your Honor.
Okay. He keeps coming back, so Ms. Bridgewater, again, would you add those? Well, one was through, would you add those two cases to the SAP calendar?
I will. Yes.
Okay, so for this case, it's for the criminal trespass, a $500 good bond. For the simple battery, $1,000 good bond, makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Mr. Cook, I want him to have a social worker visit before that August 6th SAP calendar to report to me, please. We have to figure out what we're going to do to stabilize him, so he doesn't keep going back to that Chevron. Okay, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and stay away from the Chevron.
Your Honor, did you want a no contact with, because he had that simple battery added?
Oh, yes, thank you, Ms. Bridgewater. No further contact with Mr. Lalani.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, the simple battery was supposed to be 1,500 good bond, so it makes it a total of a $2,000 good bond.
Oh,
Who
okay.
was that?
Battery to be 15, okay.
Right.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that completes the calendars for today. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Bridgewater.
Okay, let me just correct.
Michelle J, I know your mother got a signature bond. We sounded for you and we're not able to get you, and she was.
I don't, I'm sorry, I don't understand, what does that mean?
That means she's gonna be able to sign herself out. And you all have to address the issues at a later time. And as far as custody goes, you're gonna have to go through another court if you have some custody issues.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So in order to get my daughter's clothes and whatnot, I need to what court do I go to for that?
I can't advise you on that, Miss Michelle. So, I know that there's some issues with with your mother and your child and custody. So you'll have to seek the advice of a lawyer.
And Your Honor, I believe Mrs. Cheney, one of our victim advocates, has been in contact with Miss Michelle. We'll continue to give her some support. Is she allowed to have a one-time police escort to retrieve the things for her daughter? I just don't remember.
Well, she's not, it's her mother's home, is my understanding. So, and I said no further violent contact, I believe. So,
Okay.
It's no further violent contact or no contact period?
no further violent contact, I believe. Tell me your last. Go ahead, Ms. Holly.
For the violent.
Okay.
Okay. Please reach out to me. Thank you.
Okay. We ready, Ms. Bridgewater?
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Okay, thank you.
Reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be August the 6th. On the original calendar, position number 1 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 2, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 3, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 4, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 5 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 6, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 7, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 8, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 9, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. 10 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 11 is reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 13 is going to the SAP calendar with a $2,000 good bond. 14, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 15, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 16, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. And 17 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Now to the add-on calendar. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 2, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 3, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 4, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 5, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 6, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 7 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,000 good bond. And we're going to add a companion case to that. 8, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 9, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 10 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $3,500 good bond, and we're adding a companion case to this. 11, SAP calendar with a $1,000 good bond. 12 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,500 good bond. 13, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 14, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. 15, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 16, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 17, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through pretrial. And 18 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
That's a lot of work we did today. Thank
It
you,
is.
Mr. Water.
Yes.
Welcome.
They did the okey doke on us, you know.
Oh, they
I
ever.
got the calendar. I was like, oh, it's a short calendar for a Monday, and then boom.
It was me.
But guess what? We got through it.
I know.
You
I
did.
appreciate you guys. Like maybe Shelly is a different kind of animal and she can do almost 40 cases like that. That I will get through them, but my goodness, that was a lot.
But you know, the key word is we got through it. That's
You
it.
did. And it's
And on that
relatively
note,
fun. It's
we're
only
gonna
5
get off of
o'clock.
here so we can get through getting this all done.
The next job.
Yes.
Y'all have a good rest of your week. I'll see you next
Judge,
time.
will you be here
Good seeing
tomorrow?
everybody.
I won't be back, I think, on this calendar until next Monday.
Okay.
So
Well, take
I'll see
care.
y'all
Thank
next
you.
week.
See
Thank
you.
you all.
Bye-bye.